Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Blueprint Podcast. Real people, real stories. Chasing dreams, overcoming obstacles. Come get inspired and take action. I know you're ready. Let's go.
All right. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Blueprint. Very special guest today. We have Ryan Smith out of CR3 American Exteriors in North Carolina. How are you, Ryan?
Doing well, Lester. How about yourself?
I am doing well, brother. Just trying to hit the one in the middle.
There you go.
Thanks for getting on, man. This one is one I've been waiting for, to be honest. There's a lot of backstory that you probably don't understand, and this might be the first time you're hearing it. But when I first decided to join this mission, and I started to put together a play on how we're going to find the right folks, you were the very first name that showed up, and things worked out pretty well. And it was kind of like fate. So
yeah,
it's interesting, but I'm so excited to have you on to talk about your journey. But that is something I wanted to drop on you. You were the very first thing I came across, and we're here today, and that speaks volumes, dude. So
absolutely.
But before we get started, just a quick introduction on who you are, where you came from in the past, where you're at today, and what the future looks like for you.
Absolutely. So yeah, Ryan Smith, currently reside in Charlotte, North Carolina. Started my journey in this world in Pittsburgh, PA, right outside of Pittsburgh. Grew up there. Went to Penn State for college, so huge Penn State football fan, and really enjoyed my years there. And then really after that, got into residential construction. Started with Ryan Homes with their training program out of college. I always had kind of construction of blood. My dad was in construction. Family. My brother's vice president of a construction company right now as well. And so it's just kind of in our blood. And so after that, went to Washington, D.C., spent about 8 years in that area. I was really booming, and still is, but really booming back in the early 2000s, and kind of moved back to Pittsburgh. And then after that, made our way to Charlotte about 8 years ago. So
very, very cool. Very cool. I mean, you've been in the industry, which shines through, but like what or when, how did it happen when you were like, let me take a look at, opening my own business and maybe get involved with a franchise versus opening your own business, and kind of that thought process?
So I've always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit. I always wanted to start my own thing. And for every yin, there's a yang, and my wife is the yang. And so she is a lot less risk, a lot less of a risk taker, I would say, than I am. And so, had some smaller businesses throughout my career, more, let's say, side work type things, finishing basements and doing some other things while kind of being employed. But so, about 2 years ago, really just started to kind of get that itch to now or never type thing. And the home building market had really changed a lot after COVID, and I just wasn't as enthused, I would say, for lack of a better word, as I used to be. It was really just dealing with problems at the kind of the level and the position that I was at, and which I loved helping people and getting past that, but it was really all I was dealing with. My wife could see that I was unhappy, with that, and stumbled across CR3, just started looking at franchises, and mainly the mindset was that, is there some structure to this? Because I'm a very structured person. I can present that structure to my wife, my partner, and maybe have a little bit of a better sales pitch than, hey, I'm just quitting my job and going on my own, and I'm going to start a business. And so came across CR3, and that gave the structure that made her feel a little bit more comfortable and made me feel more comfortable as well.
Yeah, I think, well, it's not, I think I know, but your better half, we really look for them for validation. We understand what we don't want them to do or say or think, but like having them on our mission and taking that risk with us it's so vitally important, and it's such a difficult conversation. But once you get that validation from them, that starts to inspire you. Like, you know what, I'm going to get this right. I went through the same exact thing. I definitely had that moment, and early stage startup, job progress, right? Like, had a corporate job, but that was going to require taking a major step back to go 10 steps forward. And if you don't get that validation from that person at home or that life partner, it becomes tough. So once you get it, it really sparks that fire. And then once you get to the end result, that's when you really get to appreciate that time in life, in those conversations. But whatever, still got a lot of work to do in between. So
I think it even helped our marriage to something that kind of made our marriage even stronger. Just when you have someone in your corner supporting you, through different things. This was something that obviously we didn't experience before, and to have that support definitely is a good feeling, and again validates the whole process.
Yeah, for sure. But when there's kids involved, how many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids. Yeah. So that's, obviously that's part of the reason. So, but yeah, I have 3 boys, 15, almost 16 next month. So I'm going to have my first driver in the house, and 11 and 9. So, so they're still kind of in the thick of it.
Yep. I love it. But yeah, no, it's all part of the equation, and it's a scary place, right? But once you get the wheels moving and then you start to gain some momentum, boy, it becomes a ride, because you just have to do the work from there, right? Yeah. But yeah, no, you are one of those franchisees that I think a lot of franchisors wish they had. So don't want to toot your horn there, but following the system and the process is all part of it, right? You get so many folks. It's a tough process, right? Because you have a playbook. You have to run things, but you've been in the industry, so you've done things differently, and there's bad habits for some people. So it's very easy to say, no, this works versus that works. But when you get that playbook and you can just run it effectively and efficiently, and there's not so much pushback on the system, I think that's where the real growth starts to happen. But yeah. So you're looking at a franchise, you stumble upon CR3. What else did you look out did you compare CR3 to any other options out there?
I think really the only one I looked at a little bit more in depth and had a few other calls with was there was a siding franchise. It was strictly siding that I looked into, and had some perks to it. But again, with my background, I was looking for something that I could, a little more diversity to it, where it wasn't just siding. I can't remember how I came across CR3. I'm sure it was just some sort of Google search, and was able to. I was actually supposed to have a call with one of the associates that sells the franchises, and she was unavailable. And Carney ended up calling me that morning, we probably talked for 45 minutes or an hour, and I got off the phone. I said, "Yep, this is the one." It's where if he can do half the things he says he's going to do, we're going to be in a really good spot here. So, and he's done everything and more since then. So, really happy with the decision. But again, I think it was, because I was kind of on the fence, and talking to him, obviously the man in charge, gave me that validation I needed to kind of move forward, and made it happen.
Very good. Yeah. Like I said, I think it was day one of me up and running, and your name came across, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing yet. Here, and then boom, and I was just like, what? So, very good. All right, so you made your decision, and now you have to, get involved in the system. You have training to go through. Can you start talking about what that ground level for building that foundation, how that kind of started, and what that looked like from a franchisee's perspective?
Yeah, I think my journey to start was probably different than everyone's or anyone's. I had actually partnered up with someone that had actually already purchased the franchise. So I did have a partner earlier in this process. So the kind of the training and the back paperwork and everything was already set up in that. But nothing had really happened. We really weren't in a position to sell or to build anything at that point when I took over. And kind of my connections and ops background took over, and we were able to get everything up and running within a couple of weeks. Got all our suppliers, vendors, website, Google, all that kind of knocked out, and yeah, we're able to get rolling. I always tell people we were kind of live, ready to go, ready to sell on April 18th in 2024. And one of the biggest hailstorms in really in the Charlotte area history hit April 20th. So April 21st, it was a Sunday morning. It was still raining. I was out selling for the first time, meeting with people, and signed my first deal, I think, that day, and really had a good kickstart on the business, given that weather that came through. So.
Yeah, weather can definitely play an important factor of kind of kickstarting things off, which is a blessing when it happens, right? It's funny, like when people say, oh, it's raining or it's snowing, it's not a great day out there. But for guys like us, it's putting some pressure on those roofs, right? Yeah. So we don't look for it, but when people do need our help, we want to be there and be
Absolutely.
prepared. So very good there. So, all right. So, you're building the foundation there. Talk about like your day to day, like what does that look for you as a strategic partner and owning your business and building your brand and an extension of corporate inside of your local community. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely changed and progressed over the last year. When I first started, it was kind of me doing almost everything. Doing inspections, meeting with homeowner sales, and I wanted it that way. I wanted to learn as much about this business as possible. I've always been the type of person that I want to kind of, dive in feet first. I want to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and what's going to work for me, what I can train people to do in the future. I'm focused more on the insurance side of the business, and that just really intrigued me. I think if I wasn't in the construction business, my second kind of career would have been law enforcement or like a lawyer. So I like arguing with people, I think. So just, kind of the insurance game and getting into that and, was really interesting to me. So, but I got I like I said, dove right in and got a good feel for that background and feel like I learned a lot over that first year. And now more transitioning to trying to step away a little bit more of that and develop a team to be an owner, to grow the business as opposed to, being in the business every day. And it presents other challenges, just like, learning the process did. So, but day to day is like I said, now is more building that sales team and continuing to look for opportunities in the neighborhood for networking and growing different, networking groups. And so every day is pretty much different, but and that's what I kind of like about it. But the main focus lately is really growing the brand here and growing the team.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I personally think it's important for a strategic partner and owner of a territory to really get your boots dirty in the beginning. You should understand this business from every perspective, which I think is good because you'll be able to have that oversight. Once you do build out that team, then they always have someone to go to that can understand and relate, right? And it's not just from a position of just telling people what to do, right? So I think it's going to be a big value to you in the long run as you build your culture and your community, right? Obviously, we have a culture here from a corporate perspective, but in order to see that down, you'll have to understand what people are really going through once you build that team out, right? Nobody likes someone who knows it all and has done nothing, right?
Yeah. The struggles make you who you are. So
you got that right. You got that right. Yeah. So I guess talk about a little bit with corporate. I mean, the mentorship, the guidance, all those other things that I guess folks don't see on the back end, and what that experience has been like for you, and helping you with your growth.
Yeah, from day one, starting here, I've really had all the tools that I needed. I'm kind of an independent person, really, when it comes down to it. I've always had, kind of bootstraps, like to do things myself. And, but so it was actually a really good mix. I think the kind of the entrepreneurial side is there, but when I need something, something's, not going right, or need some guidance or a different thought process on it, I always have, Carney and Marcy and you and really everyone to reach out to for a different perspective, or, just why struggle with things sometimes. There's a lot of experience in the room. So, why not utilize that experience to, again, a lot of things you don't have to figure out yourself. They've already been figured out. So, don't make things difficult or more difficult than they need to be. But really, every time, I've needed anything, it's been either a phone call away or someone to point me in the right direction, and that's good. It's it kind of gives you that confidence that, hey, if I can't figure it out, someone is there to help if necessary. So.
Right. I know. I love it, and I hear it, and I feel it. And I think for me personally, where I came from with Job Progress, that was one of the biggest reasons why I think a lot of folks grew, and we did as a company, is because we spoke to each other. We really wanted to help each other, and we learned from each other. Everyone didn't act like we know the answer and that's it. Right. So, yeah. Or we had the best features or the best product. We always wanted to be better. How did we do that? Through relationships, through conversations, late night, 6 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. I mean, I don't think any other software provider was doing what we were doing in that way, but it was making our software better. So the same thing kind of now transitions over with our network at CR3. There's other strategic partners, right? There's corporate that's fighting for you every single day. But, as an independent, you don't really want to be so open about your conversations about your business with people that are in your local community, because that's your competitors.
Yeah.
Right. But for us, we're all on the same team. We're all on the same mission. We might be in different areas, so things might be just a little bit different, but for the most part, the core is there. And just being able to bounce ideas and speak to one another and get through issues, it either validates that I'm not the only one that this is happening to, or we're making the system better together. And that's what this is really about when you think about CR3 American Exteriors in a franchise system. Again, we say franchise system, we think about the McDonald's, we think about Taco Bell, stuff like that. But what happens behind the scenes is what you're really getting to experience now. And it's fun, right? Yeah. And, that's the best part about it for me, is being able to speak to guys like you and work through things and really innovate as well, because we're going through such a time in our industry where innovation is a must, and the ability to adapt and adopt and think ahead. Myself, Carney, Marcy, if we can think all this stuff by ourselves, we'd be fooling ourselves, right? We all do this together, and it's for the same common goal. And when we're building out our system through guys like yourself, it's just everyone wins, right? So, and you don't got to sit there in your own walls and try to figure these problems out. I mean, I think that's where the real value is in something like this. Yeah. And it's just, we're just getting started. You're just getting started. Yeah. I mean, the growth that you've had, I know where it's going to go because of what you do and how you do it. And you don't, I mean, everyone complains a little bit, but you don't complain too much. You know why? Because we figure it out. And it's guys and women like that really start to move the needle, and then everyone follows, and we all help each other. Right. So keep doing what you're doing. I've seen tens of thousands of business owners in this space since 2017. And I know what the end result is for guys like yourself. So you just got to keep waking up and getting at it every day. And amazing things start to happen. You build out that team, you add this piece here, you do this there, but you continuously believe it's going to be awesome. Yeah. So You know,
Yeah,
that's
good.
go ahead.
Good.
Yeah.
You're just, kind of piggybacking on what you're saying, the Brian in Wilmington, he does a lot of James Hardie fiber cement, and something I'm looking to add more to in my business. And, I gave him a call last week on Wednesday, and, it was 35, 40-minute conversation that he took out of his day and just said, hey, this is what I do. This is what's working. This is how I sell this. This is, some things you want to look into. This is how you want to talk to your suppliers and get this set up. And so, it wasn't Kearney. It wasn't, it was another franchisee and the other side of the state, but he took his time and went over all those, answered my questions, and it was great. Again, that's the experience that, he does it every day. Hey, maybe some things I'm not thinking of to help kind of grow that part of the business or do it more efficiently. And he's more than happy to help. So, and most people, I really haven't met anyone that hasn't been happy to help. If you make those phone calls, and everyone's busy, but when they have the time, like I haven't had anyone say, no, I'm not, kind of beat off. I mean, that's not not going to happen. So everyone's been more than willing to help. So
yeah, that's awesome. And I'm seeing this time after time. You're doing these pizza reviews on tops of roofs. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. So pizza's always been a passion of mine. It's really, I kind of think back to growing up. I mean, it was always just such, I'd say, happy memories for me. Friday night, getting to pizza and family sitting around or friends sitting around having pizza together. And from Pittsburgh, I think we have a pretty good pizza scene there. And I've always just kind of had a passion for pizza. I like trying new pizzas. And say about 4 to 6 months ago, it was just kind of the idea of slices and shingles kind of popped in my head, and just mainly watching YouTube and the kids mainly showing me videos of TikTok, and so I'm like, yeah, let's try something different. Two things I'm passionate about, pizza and roofs, and so I talked to my wife, and she said I was crazy. And talked to my 16-year-old, 15-year-old son, who's actually dialed into the social media. He's like, absolutely. He's like, if I was scrolling through TikTok and saw that, I would stop and watch it. And so I'm like, yeah, let's put this together. So just a little bit something different, and it's fun, when you have time to do it, and I can get to review some pizzas on top of roofs.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got my attention. And then there we go again, that validation piece. Your son said, run with it. It lit the fire. We move in that direction, and it's got legs. So keep it up. I'll be watching each review, and then obviously when I get to North Carolina, I'm going to have to see what your top rated ones are, and I'll grab a slice from there, and vice versa. I mean,
we'll get you on a roof as a guest reviewer.
I'm in, and then I want to get you in New Jersey because we got a lot of good pizza here. So we like to think it's the best, but everyone always thinks the best. So we'll see what happens. Actually, there's from where I sit, Delucia's, which is in Raritan, is about 10 minutes from me, and they got one of the highest scores with I think that guy's name is Dave something.
Yeah,
pizza reviews.
Yep.
So it's pretty good. It's a shame because they actually ruined the pizzeria because you can't
even get in.
Get pizza anymore. You can't. They open at 2 and they're already sold out as soon as they hit the open sign. And there's people calling from all over the country talking about, can you just ship it to me?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
So let's see what we can do with this, because I think homeowners and pizza and roofs and Ryan Smith, it all goes together. So best of luck with that, man.
It's a good combo.
Yeah. So beyond business, what's your mission? What's your legacy? I mean, what are you after?
Yeah. I live for my family, as most fathers typically do, but obviously there has to be something above that as well. Family and faith are the two biggest things for me, really. So I've, so like I said, my kids are all in sports and travel soccer and travel basketball and baseball. And so most of the time outside of work is spent watching sports, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I grew up playing sports, and taught me a lot about myself and about life, and just those lessons you learn and the memories you have growing up playing sports with your friends. So, I'm glad they're getting to experience that on different levels. And so it's a big foundation. And like I said, my faith in Jesus and my religion's a big thing that guides me on my journey. Helps me kind of hopefully make good decisions for business and for people. When I got into this, I was looking for something where I could truly help people as well. And I truly feel like, that my mission is to help people whenever we're doing roofs or helping them improve their home. And, you see someone's face after you replace their roof or their siding, and they just, they just stare at it in awe. And, and again, it makes them happy. So that's a good thing. It's a process to get through. But, outside of that, like to do some fishing, some golfing, all the kind of recreational activities that I can share with the kids as well. So yeah, that's kind of the nutshell. Yeah.
I love it though. I love every bit of it. Because it makes us who we are, and that's what we're getting up and going to work for every day, to make sure that we can just make lives around us much better, whether it's our family or our community. And I think, your big faith in God is a big driver too. And just to go back, I mean, I understand what you're saying when you're done with a project and the homeowner, and you can see their face, but we are protecting what matters to them most. That's the way I look at it.
Yep.
It might get a little deep, but it's protecting their largest investment most are ever going to make, and that's your home. That's one, but it's also protecting everything in that home. So, your family photos and your family members and your pets and everything. I know that's going a little deep, and it's like, maybe he's going a little too deep on that, but that's the reality if you really look at that, right? Because if there's a storm that comes, I mean, we want to be able to protect each other as much as we can. And we never want to capitalize off someone else's problems. But you know what, if your home got pretty damaged by a storm, we want to be the ones to help you, to make sure that you're going through the process with integrity in the right way, and you're not getting taken advantage of, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we think about it in a much broader perspective, but the way I look at it is we're protecting what matters to you most, and that's your family, and that's what you're about. So,
I would say the most rewarding day or project that I've had here, there was a Hurricane Helene came through here and did some damage in the city of Charlotte, and obviously out in Western North Carolina, but went on a call and tree through a roof. There was a 5-foot, 6-foot hole in the homeowner's roof. There's tree branches through it, broken roof trusses, siding damage. They were displaced. It was an older couple. They were in their 70s and couldn't live in their home. And again, we're elderly. It's not like they had a lot of options. And met with them and made it my mission to get them back in their home as quickly as possible. And less than a week, got permitting and engineered repairs for the roof trusses, and had the crew on site, and literally had everything put back together so they could move back into their home, turn their power back on, and be able to kind of start living their life again. Just like their thanks after that project was done was, I kind of get goosebumps now just thinking about it. That that was a big moment for me, and again, it wasn't because I wanted to make the money. It wasn't because that it was a good profit on the job. It was because I truly wanted to help those people, and I was able to accomplish it, and can kind of put their life back together, and hopefully they remember me just as much as I remember them for that. But so that's why we do it.
I love it, man. I love it, and yeah, it hits home. It hits home for me. So, I mean, I know we're on the right path. I know we're with the right people, and we're on the right. We have a clear path and a clear mission, and we know what we all want to do. As long as we run this play together, I think we're going to make it a much better place in every community across the country. So I'm excited for it, man. I'm appreciative for you. Before we wrap things up, what we do like to do is for all of our listeners out there, just one piece of advice that you would offer if someone was looking to, either start a roofing business or a siding business, and they were evaluating maybe, should I go off on my own? Should I look at another option? What piece of advice do you have for that individual as they go through their discovery process to get to where they want to go?
Yeah, I would say, what yard line on the field do you want to start on, really, is what it comes down to. I feel like I could, probably use my resources and talent and be successful if I started from ground zero and started this business. But utilizing CR3 and the franchise, I started on the 30-yard line as opposed to, the 5-yard line, going that way. And it was makes a big difference because, months and months of kind of behind the scenes and work allow you to scale a lot quicker and be at a better starting position than anyone else that's going to start from ground zero. So it makes a big difference, especially for us older guys. We don't have as much time to kind of put into the startup side to it. So it just made a big difference, really, for all the processes and paperwork and kind of to be in place to be able to say, okay, do these 10 things and you're started, get rolling, as opposed to here's these, 150 things that you have to do to get things rolling. So.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. And I look forward to the rest of the year and your journey and see how high you can go here. I know there's some big players that have been in at the top of our food chain that got people like yourself breathing on their necks. So we're all going to push one another, and I definitely look forward to seeing how you end up. But I like to think I know what's going to happen. We just need time, energy, love, and passion, baby.
No doubt.
And let's get back to work. So appreciate your time, and we'll check in soon. Thanks, Ron.
Have a great day, Lester.